Well, thank you. All right, got it. Thank you to Janik and Tiro for inviting me. It is my pleasure to be with you once again. I'm only sorry that I can't be there in person. Yes, I was over in Nepal I spent 5 years there. Actually, I think I remembered who was it? Bikash, who works at the school. I think I remember you in a session I did with the Tree of Life. Um, so little bit about me. Okay. Um, my experience comes from a lot of life experience, but also I worked in alcohol and drug rehab centers conducting group therapy for 2 to 3 years. And then I moved on to domestic violence, and I was in domestic violence for up to seven and a bit years. And for that took me all over the Northern Territory where I used to live, which is extremely vast. And then I came over to Nepal and conducted quite a few trainings over there with Janik and other organizations, and we wrote a manual, which I think you've all been given. I think Janik's given you all that manual, and then when I came back because of COVID, we had to come back very suddenly. We carried on a session then, and yeah, did some training, and now he's asked me to redo this training in order to support everyone in their learnings and the work that they're currently doing now. So it is my pleasure to share with you. Can you see? Is that too bright? Am I too bright?
I can see you. Not a problem. It's okay. If you can, just this curtain bit down, so it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be dark. Too dark.
Oh, it's too dark.
Too dark.
Okay.
That's too dark. Yeah.
That's okay. Okay. Nope. Okay. I'll go over here. How's that? Oh, that's better. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay. So thank you to technology and electricity when it's working. We are able to talk to each other. So what we're going to be embarking on is a 10 session, maybe go to 11 or 12, depending, on counseling techniques. It's good to know counseling techniques, but the first question I want to ask you, and just try and keep the questions short because we have quite a few in the class, is what is your understanding of what counseling is? Can we start
now
with...
we may have to pull our friends. Please, you are voluntarily. You have to speak here.
Okay, Azal, can we start with you? Yeah. What is your understanding of what counseling is? What's it mean to you?
Okay. According to me, counseling is an art of. According to me, counseling is an art of consulting somebody and then leading somebody in a good way with worth and with the principles that we have in our lives, and then moreover with our experiences that we have in our life. That is
Okay.
true. I understand.
Okay. Yeah, धन्यवाद, धन्यवाद. Bikash.
Okay. In my opinion, I think counseling means giving motivation to someone. Uh, simple, yeah, motivation, especially motivation and some knowledge about the anything. So is my opinion. I think motivation and giving knowledge about something, that is counseling. Thank you,
Oh,
thank you.
okay, thank you. Saga.
Okay. So, in my opinion, counseling is a kind of helping others mentally, emotionally, dealing with mental issues or emotional issues. So, counseling is there, in my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, धन्यवाद. And who's next? Raju.
Okay. I think that counseling is a process to solve some mental, physically, and socially problem.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Counseling is a process to solve some physically, mentally problem.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. धन्यवाद. Robin.
So, in my opinion, counseling is helping someone to solve the problem with love and care and encouraging. Yes, with encouraging.
धन्यवाद. धन्यवाद. And I can't read your name. Sorry. Bi.
Vijay.
Bijay. Bijay.
I think it is helping psychologically
Uh-huh.
and simple, sir.
Helping psychologically and
That's it, sir.
right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do we have anybody else? Is there others? No. Okay. Janik, please.
It's the art of listening, and help helping people to solve their own problem. I mean, to not we are helping if I'm counselor, but he has to solve by himself. But then we are just facilitating. So it's art of listening, through art of listening.
And Thiru, धन्यवाद.
I think what Janak says, I was about to tell, but he already said, like listening, listening to them, and then not solving their problem, but helping them to overcome, how to overcome with that problem. Just be with them and listening to them.
Excellent. Excellent. Anyway, that's very good. That's a nice range of of meanings for what counseling is. It's about helping people to find the pathway through the mist of their mind. It took many years for me to come up with the answer to that question. So I gave it to you very quickly, and you did quite well. Counseling is about helping the person. It's giving the person to find the strength to give themselves permission to approach the window of life. Now, the window of life is dirty and grimy and grey. And this represents the negativity of life. By giving them strength to approach that window, we also give them strength to reach out and touch it This is them starting at the very beginning to challenge things which have been holding them back. So physically they reach up and they touch the window, and instead of more darkness, a shaft of light comes through. And as the counseling continues, that person grows stronger and learns that they can approach that window and make that hole even bigger. And slowly, slowly, as they gain themselves back, they start to see more light come through the window until the window is clean. And then one day, when they decide, the window turns into a door and they walk through it into the life that they really wanted. So this is the emphasis of counseling. Janak and Tiru really hit it on the nail there, where they said to help others solve their own challenges. Now you're going to note that I'm going to use the word challenges over problems, and we'll do a small session on that as to why, but not today. If you solve the person's, if a person comes to you and starts talking and everything, and you think, oh yes, I think I know what you could do. Yeah. If you do this, this, and this, then everything will be fine. That's dictatorship. That's you robbing from them their ability to resolve the situations in their life. What more is that if those three recommendations don't work for that person, and remember, you're talking this out of your own personal experience, if they don't work for that person, then they'll come back to you and say, you told me to do this and it didn't work. So you see, by you telling them what to do, you're taking ownership of their journey. And that is not your role, because you don't have their life experiences. You don't have their line of thought, their emotional disparities in their life. You don't have a lot of things about them. They do. And they need to learn to take ownership of their strengths and to build them. And they're coming to you to help find these strengths so they can walk through that mist of the mind. And as you guide them, hence guiding, you allow them to go away and to make those decisions by themselves. And then when they come back, they will tell you the successes or failures of what they've done. Then you can just concentrate on all the successes. The slightest step forward is a step forward. Let's say a person, a client of yours comes back and says 9 things that didn't work, and they're all upset. But the 10th thing, they gave a positive affirmation about it. It was only tiny. They phoned a friend and had a good conversation. They were able to take even 5 minutes out of their busy time without all the stuff going on in their head and just relax. They were able to talk to their mother-in-law for the first time ever. All sorts of things like that. Just a tiny thing. And that is what you need to look for and to build on. As you build on these little things, all the other things that were causing so much confusion and alarm start to disappear. So if you are doing if you are taking a one-on-one, excuse me, if you are taking a one-on-one session, that's fairly easy. You should consider having your door open so that a colleague can be within reach, particularly if men are counseling women. Should always have your door open. And if you feel that things are too big for you or out of your depth, you need to refer to somebody who's more competent in that area. It's not a slight against your ability, but it's for what is best for the client. It's always about the client. Okay, so you have a person, we'll talk about one-on-ones at the moment. You have a client come into the room and you're conducting a session. It's quite a personal session. Lots of tears, lots of different things. And when the person goes out, you need to allow them to take everything that they came in with to go out with. Nothing stays with you. You don't have permission to take on their challenges. It is not yours, and therefore you need to give them some homework so they can work on that. But for yourself, if you find yourself being emotionally affected, and don't worry, you're allowed to cry in session. Goodness me, I've cried and laughed with my clients. But when they leave with everything they came in with. If you find yourself thinking about the session and it's going over in your head and you're feeling sad, then you need to seek help immediately. Get with another counselor, get with your teacher, talk it over, have a debrief, because this you don't want to take home. It's not yours. You start taking it home and you're going to go into a downward spiral. It's very dangerous to do that because it will affect the rest of your life in many ways. So immediately get with somebody, pray, ring Janaka or somebody and pray with them, ask for prayer. Right? You need to safeguard yourself. Because remember, they're bringing in a huge emotional baggage. Okay, so now we're going to move on to a, this is just basics, okay? I just want to run over this quickly. Now we're going to move on to a group. Now, if you're setting up a room, the best design for a room is in a horseshoe. That places you in the middle. You can see, hear, and talk to everyone without turning your back. Have people quite close together. People like to be together. It creates a more secure feeling, even if they're touching shoulders. I once was invited to co-facilitate a session, and this person that was down in Nepal, and this person had the desks set a little bit apart from each other and just one person at the desk. And the information he was giving was good. However, after 30 minutes, people started fidgeting and yawning and trying to look as if they were interested. And I could see that he was totally losing them. We had a break. I called for a break because the whole lot was falling down, and I suggested to him that we take out half the desks, move them closer together, and get people closer to each other. He was using a totally different, let's say, a Western system where people aren't so close together all the time, and immediately people's interest jumped up, and the session went on from there. It was a very good example of what are the client's needs rather than just what it is that you want. So horseshoe is the best thing. I wouldn't do a circle. Some people use circle, but I wouldn't do a circle, mainly because I don't want to put my back towards somebody. And if I've got a circle, I am constantly spinning around, trying not to be impolite to people by showing them my back. So I always use a horseshoe. It's very effective, and you can liaise with everybody with ease. Okay, so this session is called Emotion Depicts Motion. Nothing happens in this world unless you are emotional about what is going on. You will do nothing without emotion driving the force. So think back to when you met your wife, or the wife that you're going to meet. this is going to be a lot of emotion there. Think back to everything that you've done, maybe excelling in your school studies, or making friends, social or wherever. Anything that you do that drives you is backed by emotion. Right now, we're seeing a very evil man committing war against Ukraine, and you might think that he's a cold, hard, calculated, ugly person because of the destruction that he's causing. But he is driven by emotion. If you listen to his words, he talks about the old Russia and restructuring and all sorts of things. This is his emotion driving him, only he's using that as in a negative force. So that is why I've termed all my sessions as emotion depicts motion, because that's the only thing that drives us forward. Even if it's illegal or wrong, or if it's fantastic and right, it doesn't matter. Our emotion is going to take us to where we want to go. It's going to be our driving force. So, do I have my, how can I do this? Exit, okay, there.
You want to share?
I just move you there. You can still see me okay? Okay. Good, okay. I don't think I can show you this. I don't know. Can I
You
share
can share the
this?
screen now.
Oops. Oops. One thing I am not good at is technology.
Share the screen. Share the screen might be there.
Share. Oh, screen. Okay. I can't see this. Where am I? Yeah. I have to work harder on this.
At the bottom there is a option. Share a screen. It might be there.
Okay, no, I have to practice that some more. Okay. Okay, so in counseling, you're going to encounter many different types of sessions. Some of it might be for alcohol abuse, alcohol or drug abuse, or domestic violence, or person into a cycle of violence, which they cannot see the way out of. There's, counseling covers literally everything, and you can't be expected to take each one and know absolutely everything. So over time, you will develop techniques that that encompass a lot of things and are thought provoking. So I'm going to choose domestic violence to start with, and these techniques you can use in many different scenarios, and you can also chop and change them in order to suit the various person. So the first one we have, I would open it with a bunch of cards with the titles physical, financial, emotional, spiritual, religious, sexual, and social media texting. They would be my titles at the top. I also have other cards, and I'll give you this material. I also have other cards with many forms of violence written on them. Imprisonment. Is imprisonment a physical violence? No, it is physical, but it's more emotional. Is anything dealing with money where one person controls everything a form of physical violence? I say physical because people think of violence, they think of physical, but no, you can withhold money from your wife or your husband and spend it all and expect her to provide for the children and herself and him. How is she going to do that? You have emotional violence, which is keeping tracks on the person, tracking them with maybe the mobile phone, asking the neighbors where they've been, not giving any trust, even ordering what type of dress she should wear and who she should talk to, and more along that lines. spiritual violence is preventing your wife from entering into a spiritual state or church or any kind of religious ceremony that she wants to go to, and you're not going to allow her to do that. She has to do what it is you want to do. Sexual violence, I think that is pretty self-explanatory. And also sexual violence also takes in a lot of pornography and sharing what happens in the bedroom with your friends and or people around you, and many other forms there. And the last one is social media. And for some of you, this is normal, but for me, I never grew up with social media abuse, but I came to know it. And texting is so dangerous. And the reason being there is that only a portion of a statement is made, and the rest is made up by the receiver. You might not think that this is much, but I have cut down a few people who have hung themselves because of social media. Oh dear. Can you just, okay. I just got to zoom. I just got to zoom into the other room because I'm running low on battery. Okay. Okay, this is my office, which you can't see. Okay, so we're going to be looking at many different aspects of counseling. Where are we? Yeah. We're going to look at the cycle of violence and how we can bring about a positive outcome. You might think that's very difficult from someone who's been violent for the last however many years, but in actual fact, when you use this method of strengthening the person's inner self, strengthening their beliefs, their morals, their values, then they start to question their actions. And once they start questioning their actions, they can start looking at them in a constructive way and find out where the traps are. And this is their discovery. It always has to be their discovery. There's a lot of myths around domestic violence. You know, my dad beat my mum. My grandfather beat my grandmother. It's just normal. Everyone around me does it. What's wrong with it? If that's the way that you bring up your children and you carry on, that's what's happened in the past. But that doesn't determine the future. So we'll have a look at different myths on there. We're going to have a look at different traps, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What's good about this trap? What's bad about it? And what's ugly about it? We'll look at how people imprison themselves within their own mind due to their thoughts and beliefs. That's a very good one, because up to that point, a lot of people put up barbed wire and angry dogs, and they deal with everybody and themselves in a violent manner. And this is being self-imprisoned. When we challenge those boundaries, the walls start slowly to come down. It doesn't always happen in the blink of an eye. People don't change just like that, though sometimes they do, but it does bring about change. And the more interruption of their belief system that you can give them up to that point, the more interrupting you can give them and support for taking a better step, the stronger they'll become. We're going to look into what's known as the old man's story. And this is a story depicting the road into and out of addiction, be it alcohol or drugs. This story was given to me by some very heavy drinkers in Australia here, who lived their whole life in what we call the long grass, which is grass about 5 foot high. And they like that because they can hide in there when the police come, so they don't get arrested. But all their life, they have just drunk themselves into stupor and delved in a lot of domestic violence. We're going to be looking at relationships, how to deal with the relationship, not with your partner, but with their challenge, with their situation. What's their partnership with alcohol, with drugs, with violence? Because whatever it is that's taken hold of their life and it is directing it, this is a partnership formed. And we need to be bold enough as counselors to question that. A lot of people in society won't question it. They will keep quiet. They will hope that it will go away or reduce. But in actual fact, the opposite is true. It doesn't go away. It does get worse, and it becomes more violent until, in many cases, sadly, it results in a violent death. This lady wasn't a client of mine, but she was a friend of the family, and she was in this abusive relationship. Unfortunately, she reported it to the police, and they didn't take enough action. And eventually, she left him. She had 2 children, 14 and 16. She left him, and for a DV case, this is the most dangerous time. The perpetrator is separate, and he starts to, normally it's a he starts to develop a plan whereby if I can't have you, nobody else can. And this person tried to weave a web of lies into his action, and he came back with samurai swords and basically carved her up into pieces. This is quite a normal thing where domestic violence ends in death, and it's usually along those lines, which is extremely violent. He's in prison now for the next 35 years, so that's, he'll be a real old man if he ever gets out. But the fact is that we can help break those lines before it gets to that point with good counseling skills. We have a concept which is called a two-house story. And I'm not going to tell you much about that because that needs to unfold for itself. But it allows you participants to explore a pathway to where they are and to where they would like to be and how they are going to get there. Now, in a lot of cases, there's some big questions, but the way in which we'll use the two-house story is very agreeable and very gentle. We go into our second to last session, which is values and what I value most. This section brings together all the previous discussions and highlights the importance of shifts in thinking. Now, a lot of counseling sessions will usually stop there, and they say, "This is cool. This is just right." You know, this person has made all these changes and has this pathway set out, and everything is honky-dory. Everything is okay, because I'm not a child. However, everything is not okay. Just imagine my finger here is the line on which the person has traveled up to this point. You've challenged their beliefs, you've challenged everything about them in their life, or they have everything about them in their lives. And right now, they're here. But where's here? Here is nowhere. Where do I go from here? What do I do? How do I move forward? How do I use all this that we've been talking about, all these sessions? How do I use that to really move forward in my life? Because I don't want to be the person that I was. Now, last session is called the Tree of Life. You can look this up on Facebook. It's called Narrative Therapy, Tree of Life. I belong to a group of people circling the globe around the world, and we share different experiences about this particular concept, and also help each other. Although I haven't been on it for a long time because I've been over here. Uh-oh. What did I do, Janik? Oh. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, good, good. What can you see?
No, I mean, I just saw that last session will be Tree of Life, right?
Can you? Oh dear. Oh dear, what have I done? Oh, here I am. Okay, I'm just trying to make this bigger. I don't know how.
You can share the screen actually, that would be much better.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out how.
There's share a screen on the top, on the bottom of this one. Share a screen.
It's not coming.
Yeah.
There we are. Told you I am not a tech head.
Are you sharing the screen?
Yeah, can you see me?
No, I can see you, but I can see your screen.
Uh, no, I have to practice that.
Okay.
No, I have to practice that. So my apologies there. Okay, so where to from here? Ah, goodness me. Right, Janik, can I just ask you what materials? Just stop it. What materials you have given? You've given everyone.
I gave this the your 10 session.
Yeah.
Like emotion depicts motion. The handouts that you print, you draft it for 53 pages of handouts.
Yep. Yep.
I'll show you what I have given to them. I can show you. This is what I gave them.
Oh yes. Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. Okay, so what I'm prepared to do, what you see that Janik has sent you is the my program that I wrote up, and that's what we'll be working from. When we are finished, I'm going to give you the very book from which I've worked from all my life, which has a lot more information, a lot more detailed references. It's a proper PhD file, something I could never do. Not a PhD. So mine is born out from this book and also from life experiences and hundreds of sessions. So when we finish, I will give you this manual, and then you will have both my manual and their manual, which I would consider to be two of the best pieces of information that you could possibly have. Counseling is not difficult, but it needs to be carefully constructed. We don't rush counseling. If we find ourselves rushing, we need to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, what's our purpose? Why are we rushing? Is it for them or is it for me? If it's for them, look at your technique. If it's for you, dump it, because it's probably not going to be of any use to your client. Everything is for your client. They need to take away from the session questions in their mind for which they're going to find answers to using their experiences. Counseling is a very thrilling occupation to undertake. It can be learned technically, but its real learning is out in the field. There's one major component which Tero brought up at the beginning, and that is the power of listening. That cannot be emphasized enough. Listening is the greatest weapon or the greatest choice that counselors have. There was a case one time when Abraham Lincoln, the President of the United States, was contemplating about freeing the slaves in America. And he was weighing up everything in his mind, and he called an old neighbor of his, George. He rang him up and, yeah, George, can you come over here? So George went over and met with Abraham Lincoln, and he was in the office for 3 or 4 hours. And when he came out, the reporters asked him, what did he say? What did he say? Yeah. He said, well, he said, oh, hi, George. Thanks for coming over. You want a cup of coffee? And his next words were, thanks, George. You've helped me so much. He said, in that whole time, I never said a word. But Abraham Lincoln needed to voice out what was in his head and his heart, and to be heard, to be listened. Sigmund Freud said the greatest compliment one man can give to another or woman is to be heard. I have been in the case of many cases where I have had violent people screaming and shouting and swearing at me because I never reacted the way that they wanted to, and I listened to them and asked specific questions. It was only a short while before they started coming down to speak at a normal level. One of the greatest answers for that, when somebody is screaming and shouting at you, is to say, oh, that's an interesting idea. Can you tell me more? And now suddenly, I don't know how to do that. And now suddenly they are put where they have to answer a question instead of them being the aggressor. And sorry, maybe I'm rambling on. I had a friend who was in the police force for 6 years, and she never once drew her gun. And she was in every kind of situation that you could imagine, and she never once drew her gun. She said, I can talk that person down. I can calm the whole situation simply by refusing to react the way that they want me to react. This is a technique that you'd be well to learn because it would hold you in great steam further on in life. So I see that we've run out of time, or we've gone over time. Today was more of an introduction, an overview of everything that's coming. Next week we will get straight into it. I'm sorry that you had those Buddy China, but that's the way things go. It's my pleasure, Janik, once more to be invited, and I look forward to the coming weeks. I want you to also be open to asking questions. Please don't be silent on questions. Even the smallest question can be the most valuable.
Can we ask, since we have few minutes, we can ask if they have any questions?
We can ask, yes.
please feel free, because the session will begin from next week again. I mean, this is just introductory part. If anybody wants to have any questions, please feel free.
Can I ask one question here? See, like we were talking about domestic violence and then coming down to the point with imprisonment violence. So I want to like I am a little bit confused with this imprisonment violence. So can you please repeat here again with imprisonment violence?
Oh, imprisonment. Okay.
Yeah.
If you've been told all your life that it is your right to beat your wife up. You saw your dad do it. You saw your grandfather do it. And everyone around you does it. And you believe that this is the way a relationship happens. Well, I'm using an extreme example here, but so this actually is imprisoning you into that line of thought. And until that is challenged and you have a new pathway presented, such as, you know, giving love and care and kindness, you're going to continue on beating up your wife, thinking this is love. And that is the imprisonment that I'm talking about. And we need to enter into that imprisonment with our clients in order to open a door of thought into what actually what love actually is, what caring is, what helpfulness is. In all my experiences, when I've opened these windows for men who have been beating up their wives for many years, it stops. Sometimes they get angry because now I'm challenging them, and I've never been challenged before in that area. But I want to break down the walls of the prison. I use the form of prison because I used to work with a lot of people in prison, and and out of prison too. Most people had been to prison, and so they could understand what the concept of a prison is. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it makes more clear. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So we need to open it so that like, let's say, going back to that window, that there's there's a different way of showing love. It's like caring for my wife or my children, or giving money over so that we can buy food. These concepts may never have entered the person's head because they had no reference to it. Is there any other questions?
Any questions?
That was a good question.
Ravinder sir, you raised your finger up. Is that you want to ask question, or is it happy?
No, sir, no, no, sir.
Okay.
What was that?
I mean, this no.
He is very muffled. I can't hear him.
No questions. He said no questions.
No questions. Okay. I ask that question, but very rarely do questions come because you have a lot going through your head. So can I encourage you that over the next week, whatever question comes to mind, write it down. All right, write it down, and then let's have a look. Let's explore it. Now, because I'm Australian and I'm in Australia, I might not have the right solution, let's say, or the right pathway. but somebody else in this group has a lot of knowledge and they might be able to answer your question. It's not all about me being up the front and undertaking the training. It's about all of us collectively supporting each other. And where one moves forward, everybody moves forward. Okay, so I will next week I will practice sharing material. I will up my IT skills. Tiro, I need your help, please. And Janika, I need your help.
So,
And I will do my best to be able to deliver that to you next week. Okay.
thank you, Neil. Thank you so much for your time. And I think it's 7:27. Next week, Thursday morning, it's 6 o'clock. We will turn on. Hopefully, the electricity will be there. Let us hope. It doesn't cost to hope.
No.
So we'll continue our session in the next week and Thursday morning at 6 o'clock. 6 to 7 is our ideal time, but we can go time. There's a question, but we can those who can have questions, they can still stay for some time, but then we will try to finish on time. And yeah, is that okay, Neil?
Yeah. We need to keep an eye on the time out of respect for everybody. And plus, if you have questions, if you could forward them to Janik, and if he can't answer them, then he'll forward them to me. Right, but forward them to Janik first, and then he can pass them on to me, and that would save us a lot of time in the sessions itself. We can give the question and then the answer, so to speak, rather than going into a whole lot of discussion, which robs time from everybody. Okay.
Okay. May I ask Ravinder sir to pray and then conclude the session? You can just Ravinder sir, over to you.
Thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for the opportunity that we can participate in this counseling class and help each and everyone to understand and to get the knowledge about this emotion, emotion and the topic. And we just start today, and introductory part we finish, and from next week we are going to continue, help each and everyone to participate regularly and help us. But thank you for Niall sir, and who is handling this counseling class, giving knowledge and power so that he can make us understand clearly and give you knowledge and wisdom in English. But please help us to give you knowledge to understand this counseling class. Thank you. Thank you. In the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
One thing, like if you have internet, good internet, if there's a Wi-Fi, may I request you all to keep your video on so that we can see you all. That is something not as such rule, but then it's kind of, we want to see you, and then
it's very nice to see people.
Your faces must it looks good when I can see you all smile. Good. Okay. So.
Okay. Janik, can we just talk for a couple of minutes and
sure.
say
So
goodbye
others
to everybody?
can go. You can leave room. One. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, how did that go?
It's good.
It was
good.
a little bit, yeah. I need to learn about that sharing business, um, and get a bit more. Just move your computer, will you? Because Tiro
I
is
moved Simon.
just
I moved this
talking.
one. She moved this one. I moved this
No,
way. She moved this way.
no. You come on in.
I moved this way and she moves this way. So
I see
I
his
think I need
smiling
to.
face all the time.
Now you can see some people woke up.
Good morning. Oh, JMSC.
She just woke up now.
Daily Ramlo cha. Oh, how old is she now? 18 months? 2 years?
3.
3?
Now.
Wow.
Just woke up. Sleepy mode. Sleepy mode. Sleepy mode. Sleepy mode.
Okay, when she's sleeping, she is growing. Oh, beautiful. It's so nice. And I saw the pictures of your house. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting. You guys have stepped out boldly.
Neil, I remember that you said like first you have to you have to build house in mind. You said like that. I remember one.
Emotion depicts motion.
Yes.
You build the house in here and in
Yes.
here, and
Yes.
then put a couple of bricks together.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Look, wonderful to see you. Thank you very much. There was 11 students on, which is an excellent number. I do wish that I could be over there and deliver it personally.
Yes, yes.
But you know what
Mm.
is, and I'm just thankful for technology that we can that we can still conduct this.
Mm.
Okay,
This is the group from the young people and from different churches, and
right.
it's like mostly are university students, and then also teachers, and then professionals. I mean, these young people, it's not teenagers, but then young people.
I recognize one person there who was, I'm sure, in the session I did at the school.
Yeah.
On the Tree of Life. I can recognize him, but the others I don't know. Okay, let's kick it off next week. And
can you do the screen share practice now? Let's see if you can share.
Sure. Okay, so share a screen.
Okay. Okay, now yeah. Good.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Now you can click the file. Click the file that you want. Which file you want to show?
Which file?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So I can do that.
I can see your
Well, I can go onto desktop.
Where is the file?
Oh, goodness me. A couple of workshop breakdown. What's that? Haha. Okay, that's what I was looking for.
And then click on the file that you want.
Yeah. No, that's the breakdown of the whole session. But okay. I've just learned something. Thank you very much.
No, I can't see file. I can see list of files, but click the file that you want. Just one.
Oh, you can't see it.
I can see. I can.
You are screen sharing.
I can see the list of files, but I.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So if I. Right. Okay. Can you see all that?
No, I can't see that one. I can see the list of files.
GB program.
I can see the list.
Oh, you can see the list. Oh, okay.
So you have to.
I will ask Inga.
Okay.
Yeah. Stop share.
Oh yeah. Just now I saw something and you just left.
Okay. Try it again.
Yeah.
What's that one?
Yes. Okay.
this is what I will. This is what I'll be giving to them in the end. You have got this. This is the original PDF training manual, and it's a very long one. Let's see how many. Oh, it's too many to go through. I copied this out word for word because the manual was getting beaten up, and this is what I want to give to everybody at the end. And yeah, okay, it's gone now.
Please ask Engi to make it more easier for your experience here. Now I can see the list of two files, one correct file.
Are you reading group therapy treatment
Yeah.
for substance abuse?
I can see group therapy, and then under this there are two files, PDF and Word file, and then one's corrupted file.
Ah, dear.
Okay, it's not a problem.
Okay. Now I will practice it with Inga and make sure I have them ready to go for next week.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay then. Okay.
You have a wonderful day.
Okay.
It's
7:30.
20 past 12 over here.
7:30 at tea time.
7:30. Tea time. Yeah, coffee time.
Good.
Cold coffee.
By the way, I had asked Inge to arrange something, but I managed this one. I could manage, and we got 1 lakh rupees from there, and then this we can put the roof now. I could manage. Asking Inge to arrange if she knows something that I can get that money here in Nepal, and she said this probably Jenny can help you with this. She doesn't have any connection at the moment with her account in Nepal. Oh, you don't know? You don't know? Oh, you don't know? Oh, yeah. You have no idea. Okay, then because I was talking to Inge, sister Inge. It's okay. I made it. I've solved the issues, so it's issues are solved. Not a problem. So you have idea of the background. So I was talking to you without even background. It's something different things. I was talking to Enge's sister, and then I could.
Okay, I will ask her, and she'll.
No,
tell me
it's done. It's done.
It's done. Okay. Jamsi, you have a great day, and I will see you next week.
Okay, sure.
Okay, bye. Bye.